book lovers, it is G-Spose here, and I'm here today with my August TBR. August. What can I say? I am seriously happy with the goals I accomplished in July, and I want to keep that same momentum up in August. So I have a few reading goals I would like to complete this month, as well as complete some books that I've wanted to complete for quite some time, while also keeping up with some new releases. That pretty much sums my TBR up very well. I will be going through some of the goals slash challenge prompts that I would like to complete for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, as well as my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books Challenge, and some other fun stuff as well. So with all that out of the way, I guess without further ado, let's get straight into my August TBR. So I'm going to start off with some books that I don't physically own as of yet that I would like to get to, and I'm pretty sure all of these will complete a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I would first of all like to start off with a book that I actually never thought I would ever read. However, one of the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompts for this year is to read a book that was published the year you were born. And being that I was born in 1995, I know I feel old mentioning that because I have friends who were born in the 2000s and later. I had to look somewhere there. And I ended up discovering that Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman was published in 1995. And so I've decided that I'm going to listen to the audiobook for Practical Magic. I know barely anything about this book. I do know that there are some spin-offs or sequels that have come out like in recent years, and Practical Magic is a very well-loved story. And honestly, I know nothing about it. That makes me feel like I'm uncultured. So I want to get to this book sometime this month. I would like to complete this challenge, and I hope that I discover a new favorite out of this. I think what I like about the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge is that it helps me find new books that I never thought I would ever read, even if they are classic for one reason or another. I honestly don't think I would have picked this book up if it weren't for this challenge, so I am putting myself to the test, and fingers crossed I will get to Practical Magic sometime this month. But if not, it will be happening this year because I really want to complete a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge at least once in my life. And the second book I have to mention that I'm challenging myself to get to this month is going to complete a few challenges. First of all, it is going to complete one of my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenges, and then it's going to complete 2 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompts for 2023. The first of which being read a book with only text on the cover, and the read a book set within the decade that you were born prompt. And once again, I was born in 95, so I was born in the 90s. And what book takes place within the 90s period? Funnily enough, The Secret History by Donna Tartt takes place within the 90s. I happened to discover that through a Google search, and this completes 3 challenge prompts, and thankfully it's a recommendation from my friend that is going to help me with the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge as well. And once again, I don't think I would have ever really considered picking this up if it weren't for these 2 challenges. I don't think I would have even picked it up for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I would have found another workaround just so that I wouldn't read The Secret History. The Secret History just seems very intimidating for me, and I don't think that it's a book that I would usually gravitate towards. So this is going to be a real challenge for me, and I finally have to do it. I am nearing the end of my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge, and I'm really happy that I am. I'm slowly trying to eliminate the books one by one by choosing the most intimidating books in a row, and this book I believe is shorter than the last 2 ones that I read. I read The Lies of Locke Lamora and Ashes of the Sun, and they were much chunkier, but I think that this is somewhat similar in length, but not too similar. Then after this, I'll move on to The Goblin Emperor, and then I will move on to Inuyasha. But my main priority is to get to The Secret History by Donna Tartt sometime before the end of the year, but I would like to get it done during August. I just want to eliminate as many challenges as I possibly can so that I can enjoy the rest of my reading year. And the third and final book that I don't yet physically own, but I will be physically owning because I believe that it's going to be one of my book box picks for the month, just so happens to complete one of the challenge prompts for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. The challenge prompt is to read a book that was originally fan fiction. So I did a bit of digging. I went onto GOODREADS and I went onto a list of a bunch of books to see if I could find something. And then I noticed Guardians of the Dawn Zara on that list. I believe that this was either a Sailor Moon fanfiction or a Lunar Chronicles fanfiction originally, because it has been pitched as such. But so far what I know, the fanfiction aspects lean more in the Sailor Moon direction. I'm really excited for this. I want to read more about magical girls, and I saw that this is potentially a book box pick from one of my subscriptions, and I'm really excited to own this. I cannot cannot wait to read it and check it out. I'll see how it goes. I honestly don't know what to expect. I haven't watched Sailor Moon in years. I grew up watching it on Saturday morning TV. I loved watching it as a kid. I barely remember anything about it, but what I do remember is that I had a massive crush on Tuxedo Mask. So I would like to get back into my Sailor Moon phase, and I'm kind of hoping that Zara triggers that for me. I don't really have many expectations for it, but I think I'm gonna have a good time overall. And moving on to the books that I currently physically own that I would like to get to. Another Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt for 2023 is to read a book that takes place within a day. And I looked at some lists once again. I did a Google search, I did some digging, and I found out that today, tonight, and tomorrow might just be one of those picks. I think I found this one on a blog post. There was a blog post about like 12 books that take place within a day, and this was one of them. I have had this for a few months, and I still haven't read any of Rachel Lynn Solomon's young adult works, and I am a huge fan of her adult romances. Weather Girl happens to be one of my favorite romance books ever, so I want to read more from her. I definitely want to read more books that she's put out, even if it means I read from her young adult catalog. And today, tonight, and tomorrow just so happens to be a young adult fiction. I hope that I get to this one this month and I absolutely enjoy it. It will complete a challenge prompt. I'm getting closer to completing this challenge, and it's so exciting for me. But I can't wait to share my thoughts on today, tonight, and tomorrow. And another book that I would like to read in the month of August to help me complete my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge for 2023 is for the prompt, read a book by an author who has the same initials as you. And this took me a while, so if you guys don't know, my initials are G.A. And I personally couldn't think of any authors at the top of my head that I've heard of before. Maybe in passing I might have, nor do I have any authors on my shelf with those initials, at least in that order. It took me a while, but then I realized, you know, wow, I need to read an author with the same initials. Doesn't say that I can't switch the initials around. So I looked at AG, and then I found Adeline Grace, who just so happens to have my name and their name. So it kind of works perfectly. Bonus points, maybe? I still have not yet read Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and Adeline Grace has my initials just swapped around. So it works perfectly. I have the Fairy Loot exclusive edition of Belladonna, and I've heard absolutely amazing things about this book, but I have not yet read it, and a big reason why I have not yet read it is because hype. It's so hyped, and I am a little bit intimidated by the hype, so I'm hoping to get to it sometime this month. I really wanted to wait until we were closer to the finale to start the series. However, I gotta do it for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, and I reckon that I'm going to love Belladonna. I've heard that Belladonna has helped fantasy romance lovers get out of their reading slumps. I've heard that it's like one of the best books that they read last year, so I don't doubt that I will love it myself. I'm hoping to get to it sometime this year to complete this challenge, but I'm kind of hoping I can accomplish it in August of this year. And the next book I'd like to get to in August is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. So I have King of Pride on my shelves, and I keep on reaching for King of Pride, but I have to stop myself. And the reason why I have to stop myself is because I have not continued on with the Twisted series yet. And in case you guys don't know, King of Wrath makes reference to Twisted games. And I just know that if Anna Huang's future books are going to make reference to future books in the Twisted series, then I need to get a move on. I've only read the first 2 books in the Twisted series, and I have been dragging my reading experience of the Twisted series for quite some time because as the book series goes on, the books get thicker. And I read some thick stuff in July, and it made me think to myself, if I could get through tomes in July, then I can get through the Twisted series. This series is easy compared to some of the tomes I read in July. So I'm hoping to at least complete the Twisted series this year. And this won't complete any of my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompts, nor will this complete any other challenge. This is just a personal goal of mine because I keep on telling myself that I want to read King of Pride, but I have to hold it. And the reason why I do is because I don't want to get spoiled for anything that happens in this series. And I know that there's a small chance that I will if I do continue on with the Kings of Sin series, but I do want to read Anna Huang's series that got me into Anna Huang, and that is the Twisted series. And I also want to read the If Love series eventually, but no, like I need to start off with the Twisted series because it's getting messy at this point. I have so many books on my TBR by Anna Huang, and I just need to stick to one book series first before continuing on with the rest. And this next book that I put on my August TBR, I believe is going to be probably the easiest book that I will accomplish this month, and that, my friends, is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I finally have my copy of this book, and I am finally planning to get to it. I'm so excited. I have work colleagues absolutely raving about this cozy fantasy with like low stakes. It's just a fun time. I'm seeing it everywhere on BookTube. I'm seeing it everywhere on Bookstagram, on BookTok. Everyone is talking about this book, and I still haven't read it. Even Camilo is interested in it. I do plan on getting to it, and I'm hoping that I will read it in the month of August because it's about time. This isn't necessarily for a reading challenge at all. It's not necessarily a reading goal of mine that I need to accomplish. This is just going to be a good breakaway read that is just going to have feel-good vibes. How long is Legends and Lattes? It's like 300 pages. That is a pretty decent length. I reckon that this is very doable. It's probably the most doable book on this TBR. And speaking of really hyped books that are taking the bookternet by storm at the moment, I personally don't know what the deal is with Divine Rivals, but I need to find out. This book was put on my TBR by Fairy Loot. I received the Fairy Loot special edition, and as the weeks go by, this book becomes one of the most in search of books on the bookternet. Like, I am in different buy swap sell groups, I am in different bookish Facebook groups, and everyone is asking for a special edition of Divine Rivals, and they are willing to pay so much money for it. People are selling this book for like 200 Australian dollars. It's going for high prices everywhere, and I don't actually understand. And that is most likely because I have not yet read this book, but I am hearing from everyone who has read it that they love it, and it is one of the best books that they've read this year, and I need to know why that is the case. I don't doubt Rebecca Ross's writing ability because I did read Dreams Lie Beneath. However, if Divine Rivals tops the writing, the storytelling, everything about Dreams Lie Beneath, if it tops any of that, I will be absolutely impressed. Because I personally loved Dreams Lie Beneath, and in my personal opinion, it is a very well-written standalone. This book has taken the internet by storm. I remember A River Enchanted doing its rounds, but I have not seen this much buzz for a Rebecca Ross book that has only been out for a couple of months. So fingers crossed I get to it sometime soon. I am just wanting to jump onto this hype train as soon as possible, and I'm hoping to do that in August. Now, before I move on, I must show these features off because they are so pretty. Like, I can definitely understand why everyone wants a copy of this beautiful book. However, I don't understand why it's selling for the price of, let's say, like Fairy Loot Daughter of the Moon Goddess already. As much as it's a very pretty book, it's not as pretty as Daughter of the Moon Goddess or some of the other floral books that they've done, but it must be a really good book for people to pay that price for it, you know? And last but certainly not least, I'm gonna make it happen. I am going to read the War of Lost Hearts series, and I am going to make August Wargust. I know, so cringe, but I've decided that I am going to associate a keyword in a book series with the month. So August will be Wargust, and September will be Savage September, so I can get to the Savage Land series. And no, I am not running a readathon because that is not what I do. I'm not doing a read along because that is not what I'm gonna do. This is purely for myself. I need to motivate myself to read this book series in my own time, and I want to do that in August. I received these books, I believe, either for my birthday gift last year or for my Christmas gift last year from Camilo. I just love these beautiful hardbacks, and I have just wanted to read them this year, and I definitely want to read these books before I get to Serpent in the Wings of Night and other books by Carissa Broadbent. But I have to make it happen at some point because the hype for Serpent in the Wings of Night is just growing and growing every day. And as the hype is growing for that series, so is the pressure to read it. And as I've mentioned on my channel previously, I'm a big fan of an author's backlist. Like, I need to experience an author's backlist sometimes, and I feel like I need to in this case. So I want to make this happen, and this is the last monthly TBR I'm going to put these books on. I'm going to make August happen for myself. So fingers crossed it will happen sometime this month. I am really aiming for this month. I have high hopes in myself. I believe in myself to make it happen. So G-Squiz, let's make it happen. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay to the end of the video, leave me the pink heart emoji with the sparkles. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. My G-Swizzle books on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/G-Swizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at G-Swizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.